hear me well because yeah, okay, we're gonna record this. So I just always want to make sure. Okay, welcome everybody to today's super exciting, super big announcement that we have for you. It's so nice to see you guys. I see so many familiar faces, so it's so nice to see everyone who I recognize here. I always introduce myself anyways, just in case somebody doesn't know me, but I feel like the majority of you guys probably do know me. But anyways, my name is Sulva Barrios, and I'm the co-founder of the Mayan Wisdom Project and the daughter of the very renowned and famous elder Carlos Barrios. My dad and I started this project together now officially 6 years ago, which is kind of crazy how time flies. And since then, we've been working really hard to make this project a really special place for everyone to be able to learn about the Maya Cosmovision and Mayan wisdom in a way that is safe, in a way that is respectful, both for you guys as well as for all of the teachers who we work with, who come from so many different Maya nations across Guatemala. And it has been the honor of my life to be able to collaborate with them in this project for the last 6 years. And today I have something really special to share with you guys. So I feel like I don't have to give too much context because I did just introduce myself in case there is somebody new here, but I do feel like probably all of you guys know us and what we do and me and what I do. So, as you know, as some of you might remember, last year, like at the end of last year, we started experimenting with a lot of new stuff because for an entire year we were taking it kind of easy because all these prior years we had been working so hard and doing so many programs and different things. So we took like a little break, but after that break I got really inspired because it all started when I started doing those Mayan chart readings that some of you guys might remember that we did that like a few months ago. And during that time, I got to talk to a lot of you one-on-one, and I got to hear your stories. And it was life-changing for me. I mean, I know everyone told me like this was incredible for me to get this reading done because it gives me so much clarity and I understood so many different things. And as life-changing as you guys said it was for you, I promise you it was more life-changing for me to be able to talk to so many of you one-on-one, because a lot of the people who I got the opportunity to talk to one-on-one, since usually I see you at events like this, like I see your little screen on Zoom, and then I see you all the time, but I don't get to actually talk to you or get to see who you are exactly. Doing that for me was incredible because I got to meet so many of you. And then I got to talk to you about some of the programs that you have done with us and how they have impacted you. And that inspired me to do the retreats that we recently have done. We just did a retreat in February. I see some of the retreat people here. It's nice to see you guys. I miss you. But anyways, it was amazing. I hope you guys agree. I think you do agree, but it was amazing. We had such an incredible time. And during that time with you guys here in Guatemala, I was able to talk to even more of you one-on-one. And I heard a couple of stories, like some of you guys reached out to me directly while we were together in Guatemala and told me so many incredible stories about the way all of the work with Mayan wisdom has impacted you. And that, you know, was so inspiring for me. And it really, I was so mind blown. And so what inspired me to do those retreats, the one we did in February, and there's the upcoming one in June, that another group of participants is going to be joining us in Guatemala. And it's like this 1 week experience where we're going to be celebrating the Maya New Year and doing fire ceremonies and cleanses and exercises guided by spiritual leaders and healers. I was so inspired by the way the last one went, and I'm so excited for the upcoming one in June. But as you guys were here, and now I'm talking to the retreat people directly because they were here, I was like, wow, this was amazing. And it was this 1 week that we had together, but it was in Antigua. you know? And as incredible as it was, because you guys had the most profound experience based on what you told me after the retreat, meeting with the spiritual leaders, meeting with Raquel, the healer as well, meeting with Tata Alberto, like doing all of the practices, a part of me was like, you know what? I kind of wish I could keep these people here with me. So I really hope some of you guys will come back and go like way deeper, right? Because my biggest frustration with the Man Wisdom Project always, and this is something that I have talked to my family about so many different times, my biggest frustration is that I get to experience the Mayan world in my life all the time in such a profound way. And I get to travel to Lanquin and spend like a week in the jungle with Hector and Elsa. And I get to go to Peten and I get to go to Raquel and I get to go to the spiritual leaders like on a weekly basis and be with the fire. And, recently we started like launching programs that we were inspired to like work with people one-on-one more. But obviously, we are limited to how much of that we can do because it's like all of this personalized work. So I was like, what can we do next? Because now, I don't know, some of you know me, once I get activated, I can't stop myself anymore. Once I get inspired, it's over. And I just want to keep going and like go even more intensely deeper into it. Yes, that's correct, Alma. It's the Khan energy in me, probably. But anyways, I was like, how can we do something like deeper next time? And so I started brainstorming with myself, and some of you might know Anne. Like we were literally in the February retreat in the car with Anne when I was like pitching this idea to her, and she was like, oh my gosh, I love it. I was like, would you be willing to go crazy with me and join me in this like completely new, crazier journey? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. So basically, we came up with something, and I think it's going to be the perfect balance between all of the different programs that we're currently doing. Because as you know, we have this program right now called the Path to Wholeness, where we're going to be doing one-on-one work with people for a few months. We have like retreats happening, like so the opportunity to come to Guatemala. We have like the journey, with all like the opportunity, and the journey is to like learn knowledge directly from all of the teachers. So I think that I came up with the perfect program that mixes all of that together. So what we're going to do is we're not longer going to do a retreat, but we're going to do a full-on immersion, which is going to give you basically the best of everything that we do, but it's going to be in person and it's going to be in Guatemala, and it's not going to be that short, because in order to really give you access to the entire Maya world in the way that I want to give you access, is going to have to be 3 weeks. So why am I announcing it now? Because obviously, we have already the rest of the year full of activities, and I wanted to announce it literally 1 year in advance. And the reason for that is I know that 3 weeks is a long time, and I know that you guys have work and you guys have things to do. And I know that probably you guys have to plan this out quite a long time in advance because of work, right? Like maybe you need to organize vacation days and ask for permission a long time in advance and everything. So I was like, if I only announce this in like 6 months, are people going to be able to come or not? Because they'll have to plan around it. So I'm announcing the stuff that we're going to do in early 2027. Okay. So basically, we're going to do something, and it's going to be amazing. And it's our first ever Mayan world immersion, is what this new program is called. It's a full-on Mayan world immersion. And the way in which I'm planning it is to finally release my own frustration that every time we work with you, we can only show you like a snippet of the Mayan world, or like just one aspect of the Mayan world. And is this time I want to not hold back at all. And it's not that we ever hold back on purpose, but we hold back in the sense that it's very difficult to create something that shows you everything. This time we spent weeks talking about it back and forth with Anne, like how could we show you guys everything, like bring you everywhere, introduce you to every teacher we work with, like introduce you to every single aspect of the Mayan culture, like all of it, like everything, you know? And at first I was like, oh, it could be an online program or something. But then I was like, no, it cannot be an online program because now some of you who have come to Guatemala, you probably get it. It hits very different to be there in person. Like, even if we sat down with the teachers for 5 hours straight via Zoom, it's just not the same thing as if you're actually here. And I know some of you guys who came to Guatemala came to Antigua, and I don't know if you remember. I know some of you have no context to what I'm saying, but I'm talking to the people who did come to Guatemala recently. I don't know if you remember that I was telling you like Antigua is not a great representation of the Mayan world, and we talked about that history and why it's not a great representation of the Mayan world. So I was like, this is, I want to take you to the real Guatemala this time, like to the actual Mayan world, like into nature with me, like into the jungle, literally. So basically, that's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be a 3-week experience. As I told you guys, it is called the Mayan World Immersion. It's going to be happening in 2027 in 3 different locations. We will start in Antigua because then you guys get to meet a couple of our teachers who live nearby here. And for me, it's very important that you meet those 2 teachers because they are amazing. Okay. Tata, Alberto, and Raquel are incredible. So I wouldn't want to skip that part of you meeting them and doing the work that they can offer with you. And with them, we can actually focus a lot on healing work. Like we do a lot of exercises with them that are regarding like cleansing yourself, Mayan fire ceremonies, like exercises to release trauma, to heal yourself. This time we're also involving Raquel a lot more with the herbalism and healing your body aspect. She's an herbalist and she's an expert on like how to heal people. So we're involving her a lot more during this immersion in the aspect of like really understanding what is causing our physical ailments and being able to release that. So it's going to be a really deep experience that we're going to have in Antigua. So the first location is going to be Antigua for this immersion. The second location for this immersion is going to be Lanquin, okay? Lanquin is in Alta Verapaz in Guatemala. It is basically like a 10-hour trip from Antigua. So it is hard to get there, but we're going to make the effort and we are going to get there. And Lanquin is the place where we're going to spend the most amount of time. And the reason for that is honestly, like I wish I could make this a 2-month thing, but that would be unreasonable and crazy. So obviously I'm not gonna do that. I thought 3 weeks is probably the max amount of time that I can keep you guys where it still works for you guys, I thought. Because in my mind, I wanted to do it for like 6 weeks or something, but I can't kidnap you for a month and a half and have you here in Guatemala with me. So basically, we're going to be in Lanquin and we're going to do not only the cacao world, because obviously we're going to immerse ourselves fully in the cacao world because the Kaqchi Nation, cacao is everything for them. So we're going to be going to cacao farms. We're going to be working with cacao spiritually, learning about cacao. We'll have not only cacao producers and farmers, but also spiritual leaders accompanying us through that journey to work with Maya ceremonies, but also cacao specifically to guide us through that. There, we're going to start to introduce you to the true Mayan world. Hector is going to give some of the most incredible classes that it sounds underwhelming when you hear the title of it, but really there's this one that is like ancient permaculture. And you might be like, agriculture, kind of boring. Well, no, it's not boring. It is life-changing. That workshop that he's going to give is absolutely life-changing because it teaches you about the basis of how to build a community, how to build your health, your spirituality for the Maya. It's the basis of everything. Also, for the first time ever, and this is the part that excites me the most, we're going to take you to a community nearby Lanquin, which is the project that we started as the Mind Wisdom Project. I started it, and Hector also is like partnering up with me in this project. Whatever, I'll just tell you what it's called. It's called the Ancient Future Project, and we started because our mission is to have a social impact in Guatemala through everything that we do. So we currently support a community of 108 families in Alta Verapaz. And that's our model community because our idea is to bring this project to every corner of Guatemala. And for the first time ever, we're also going to bring you to that community to interact with the people. It's a life-changing experience because you're going to get to meet such beautiful people and see how communities can be built in the ancient way. So in Lanquin, we're going to be doing so many incredible things. I'll present them better in a second. And then the third location, because yes, there is a third location, is going to be Peten, where Tikal is. So yes, we are going to go to Tikal. Okay, we're going to go to the ancient sites, be amongst the Mayan ruins and the pyramids and all of that. We're also going to be going to a community there that is the most amazing people. Like, just when we go there, just bring tissues and prepare to cry for like 5 hours straight because everything that they do there is so moving, all of the work that they do there. I'll explain it in a second, but it's going to be 3 weeks traveling from corner to corner of Guatemala, literally all the way from the south to all the way to the north of the country. And we're going to be together doing this in such a beautiful and exciting way. And the other announcement that I have is that we have always, whenever we announce this, we always have an overwhelming amount of people trying to sign up to these kinds of things that we do. For example, for the last retreat, we still have more than like around 50 people in our waiting list for like the February and June retreats that we did, of people like ready to sign up who just didn't make it because it sold out in one day, literally. So this time I was like, let's be realistic. Every time we do this, like the first group sells out immediately and there's more than enough people for a second group. So this time, for the first time ever, I'm actually being realistic and I'm not going to come back to you in a week saying, oh my God, surprise, we're opening a second group. We're actually opening 2 groups immediately because we know that they're going to fill up immediately. Just based on our waiting list, we already have enough people to fill it up. Like, we're still announcing it, obviously, but we are just already opening 2 groups immediately. And the cool part is that we think that's going to give you flexibility. So the first one is going to be in January of 2027, and the second one is going to be in March of 2027. I have a slideshow prepared. Don't worry, I'll share the dates, the exact dates in 1 second. But we're doing this because it's cool for you to have that flexibility because you can choose between 2 different dates, so you can make it work better for your schedule. But B, because how do you say this in English? Nunca nos damos abasto with these kinds of things. Like, we never, I don't know how to say that in English, but like we can never, even when we open 2 groups for these things, there's always a waiting list of 50 more people trying to sign up who just don't make it. So we are trying to open it up to as many people as we possibly can. So anyways, I'm going to present to you a little bit of what's going to make this experience so unique. So this is no longer a retreat. As you guys know, this year we're doing retreats, but this is no longer a retreat. This is basically a mix between a program and an immersion, and it's going to be an in-person immersion into the entire Mayan world. It is fully built in collaboration with Mayan healers, with Mayan elders, with herbalists, with cacao producers and farmers. I've already talked to all of them, by the way, they're so excited. It is built with people who are in collaboration with people who are having such impacts in the communities here in Guatemala. Like leaders who you don't even know could possibly exist. Like, all the way from Antigua to Peten, we're going to meet people who are changing the world and fighting for Mayan rights, but really creating a profound impact in the world. I'm telling you, prepare to cry a little, because you will cry a little bit. Because some of the projects that we're going to visit are absolutely mind-blowing in Antigua, but also in Lanquin, our own project, but it is amazing. And also in Peten, the community that we're going to visit is going to blow your mind. So we're going to also give back to the community in that way. But we're going to learn so much from those people. We're going to experience everything. We're going to experience ceremonies, healing practices, cleanses, ancient exercises to release, to release trauma, to release the past, to create transformation. We're going to experience herbal healing wisdom. We're going to experience the culture and traditions of cacao, from farming to production to spirituality. We're going to have like entire days of like the oral tradition, where we're going to sit together with several women from the Kikchi Nation who are going to be cooking in the fire with us as they tell us all about the Maya oral tradition. And then we get to eat everything that we cooked in the traditional Mayan way. We're going to have permaculture. We're going to visit ancient Mayan sites from Tikal to Ishimche. Obviously, we're also going to go to Semuk Champey, which is this beautiful wonder in the middle of nature with turquoise pools. We're going to have a profound cultural immersion with local communities. In like some of the most impactful social projects. We're going to have so many incredible things happening. And so now I'm just going to share the little slideshow that I prepared for you so that you have like the visual version of this. So Anne, if you would like to, you can start sharing. A ver, pues. Muy bien. Okay, so here we go. Introducing the Mayan World Immersion 2027, a 3-week life-changing experience, because this one, I can promise you, is going to be the most life-changing thing that we've ever done. So if you want, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so first, just so you have it clear, I just wrote down the dates. So you can check them out. As I said, it is 3 weeks in this immersive experience over 3 locations: Antigua, Guatemala, Lanquin, and Peten. And just in case you're curious, where in Peten are we going to be staying? We're going to be staying in Flores as the basis of where we're going to be staying, because there you actually have access to restaurants and all kinds of things to hang out. And then we're going to be traveling directly from there to Tikal, traveling from there to, the incredible community we're going to be visiting. And anyways, so because of, as I said, flexibility, and to increase our capacity, because we always have super crazy high demand when it comes to these things, we already decided to open 2 groups. So the first group is going to be January 12th to January 30th, 2027. And the second group is going to be March 2nd to March 20th, 2027. By the way, randomly, they both start on a Tuesday and they both end on a Saturday, which is just a coincidence that happened. But anyways, and of course, as you know, we have limited space available on each group, because even though we would love to bring like 100 people per group to Guatemala, that is absolutely crazy and impossible. So we're definitely not doing that. So each group has limited spaces. Okay, if you want, you can click the next slide. I'm going to introduce the teachers a little bit. Okay, so Nana Raquel, she's an herbalist from the Cachiquel Nation. She collaborates with her mom. This is so weird. Why are all those blue lines getting painted on this? Anyways, whatever. So, Nana Raquel, she comes from the Cachiquel Nation, collaborates with her mom. She comes from a really, really, really long line of Mayan healers and curanderos. She specifically is an herbalist, and she works with herbal medicine. Actually, I just had some of her nervous system blend literally 20 minutes before this. She's incredible. We have worked with her for a couple of years now. I have brought people to her. I have contacted people with her, and I have seen so many people, because at first I was skeptic, like how much can herbs actually do? But I have witnessed her be able to heal people from things that, they thought they're going to have to struggle with their entire life. Physical ailments, but also emotional and psychological ailments. I have seen her heal people with severe anxiety, severe depression, all kinds of things. And the beautiful thing about her is she works not only with the physical body, but with the mental and the emotional and the psychological and the spiritual aspect of human beings, to try to figure out, why are you suffering physically, right? Is the source actually physical, or is the source maybe emotional? Is the source maybe psychological? What things are you carrying with you that are transforming into somatic problems in your physical body? So she works with people on a really deep level, because she doesn't just give you herbs and medicine and treats you physically, but she gives you the keys to really healing yourself yourself in every aspect until you become like this completely balanced and healthy human being in a holistic way, let's say, in every aspect of you. Then there's Tata Alberto. How do you describe Tata Alberto? It's hard. Well, he's a spiritual leader with several decades of experience. He's also from the Cachiquel Nation. And he has worked with the Maya spirituality for decades, but he has specifically specialized on how to help people to heal themselves in every aspect as well. Because, by the way, not a lot of people know this, but he's also a herbalist. We rarely mention this, but he also is. But he specializes specifically in helping people unlock their own power, I guess is how I would describe him. So like he helps people to unlock the power of their own mind so that you don't need an external person, right? Like you don't depend on an external person, but that you can find your own power of your own mind to heal yourself, to find balance in life. And he is amazing. He's amazing. Also, he participates in several organizations in Guatemala who are trying to reclaim and save the knowledge of the Maya Geocosmovision that is getting lost. Or those organizations also promote the Maya Geocosmovision for people who have forgotten their own roots here in Guatemala. And he knows so much stuff. I just don't know how to explain it. He has so much knowledge. He has so much wisdom. He's also such a kind soul, such a good-hearted person. It's hard to explain until you meet him, but he's amazing, really. He's a beautiful person and has so much wisdom in healing people. So that's the two first teachers. The next two teachers are, if you want, you can go to the next slide. There you go. Elsa and Hector. Elsa and Hector are the coolest people alive. I'm not joking. Once you meet them, they are the most special human beings you'll ever meet in your life. They're married to each other. They're a great couple. They both are the leaders of our Lanquin cacao collective. So if you ever have drunk Lanquin cacao, Elsa right there made it with her own hands, 100% by hand, and also with a lot of love. Elsa, she comes from the Maya Quechua Nation. And I didn't even know this, but actually, I thought her Spanish is so perfect, but actually, she only learned Spanish recently. I was like, what? Because her Spanish is so perfect. But, anyways, she comes from the Maya Quechua Nation. And basically, the idea is that she is the leader of our Lanquin Cacao Collective. She has had such an impact in her community because when she started this project of producing cacao, she's an expert in cacao production. When she started with this idea of cacao production, she was doing it by herself, but now she's been able to employ so many women around her community who were living under conditions of extreme poverty. So she has had such a massive impact on her own community and is such a loved member of her community. She's an expert on cacao farming, on cacao production. And she's also an expert on cacao's medicinal uses. Some of you have heard her share some cool ancient recipes for healing yourself with cacao. Also, it's hard to explain it, but she has the most beautiful energy. Just being in her presence is such a beautiful thing. Once you meet her, you'll understand. She's just this incredible human being. And yeah, she's incredible. Anyways, basically, then we have also a Hector, and Hector is an incredible man, okay? Hector is one of the people in the world that I respect the most. Like, I admire him. As I'm older, I want to be like Hector. I'm like his big fan. He's my inspiration because Hector, well, his journey started as a victim of the Guatemalan genocide when he was a child. He almost got killed during the Guatemalan genocide, literally had the gun to his head, literally speaking. His dad, unfortunately, was a victim on that same day. And during that time, a lot of people migrated either to Guatemala City or to the States to be able to save themselves from the genocide that lasted 30 years in Guatemala. And a lot of people were murdered in a bloody, traumatic, and horrible way during that time. But I guess he really did learn from his dad, because the reason his dad was killed is because a lot of women were left without a husband during the genocide. And his dad would secretly organize all of this, like, planting of seeds, and secretly would bring food to the women because people were also literally starving to death in his region. And so his dad was killed for that reason, for helping other people in the community. But I guess he did plant a beautiful seed in Hector, because instead of leaving, he decided to stay there and to protect the wisdom of the Maya tradition, even at the potential cost of his life. And basically, since then, well, Elsa and Hector were living under extreme poverty for many, many years, until you guys came and helped them by buying their cacao, just so you know. But basically, um, since we started working with them, they were able to buy this beautiful piece of land, and Hector created a community farm for everyone to come into that farm in the community and relearn all of the Mayan wisdom that has been forgotten on the topic of agriculture. He's also the co-leader alongside me of the Ancient Future Project, where we're supporting for now only that community in Alta Verapaz, but just you wait, because we'll support many more communities. And basically, he's an incredible leader. The work that we have done, honestly, I take my hat off. I don't know if you can say that in English, but like, I respect him so much, because we've been able to change that community in such great ways already. And it's been thanks to the hard work that he puts into it. He's a passionate cacao farmer. He's a passionate ancient permaculturist, and he's a big warrior and leader of the Kekchi nation who protects the wisdom of his tradition. So that's Hector. And if you want, you can go to the next slide, Anne. That's me. And I just put myself in there because obviously I will come with you through the entire journey. I'm organizing. I'm also going to be your translator the entire time. And I'm also going to be helping to guide the whole experience. So I just put myself in there for that reason. And the thing is, this call would probably take 2 hours if we listed all of the teachers who are going to be part of this. Because, for example, in that photo, you see those couple of women, you are going to meet them too. But there's so many more women in that community who are all cacao producers and cacao farmers who you're going to meet. You're going to meet more spiritual leaders along the way. You're going to meet community leaders all over Guatemala who are changing the country in profound and beautiful ways. You're also going to meet like literal hundreds of community members who we're going to share time with. You're also going to meet this little beautiful elderly lady who's an artisan of the ancient work with clay, who's going to teach us about the oral tradition and the work of artisans. You're going to meet a lot of people, okay? It would have taken a long time to introduce every single one of them. But amongst those people are many more healers, many more spiritual leaders, many more community leaders, and many more cacao farmers, producers, and experts in the topics of cacao. So I'm just summarizing it now. If you want, you can go to the next slide, Anne. Okay. All right, perfect. So I hope that's not too little or too small, the letters. So hopefully you guys can read it. But these are the activities. And as you can see, it's a lot of activities. That's why it's hard to fit into one single slide. But these are the activities that we're going to do. By the way, don't worry, you'll also be able to find this in the website. So even you don't need to write them down right now or something to have all the information, because this exact form is also in the website. So first, in Antigua, we're obviously going to welcome you guys here with a beautiful welcome dinner where all of us are going to be able to meet each other, introduce each other to one another. We're going to do an opening Maya fire ceremony in an ancient Mayan site called Ishimche. Ishimche is like 1.5 hours from Antigua and is like one of the most important ancient cities in the Kaqchikel nation. We're going to do, and this is not necessarily in the correct order, just so you guys know, but after you sign up, we will send you guys like more information so you know the exact day by day schedule, it would have just been crazy to break 3 weeks down in the website, like day by day. It would have been just been kind of crazy. So we didn't do it, and we divided it only into this 3 sections. But we're also going to have individual cleansing sessions with a spiritual leader so that you can be working with a spiritual leader like one-on-one. We're going to have workshops on how to find balance and unlock the power of your mind. We're going to have an ancient exercise guided by a Maya healer to release stuck emotions of the past and heal trauma. We're going to have a workshop on herbal wisdom and healing your body, plus understanding the source of your physical ailments. We're going to have a giving back day. Okay. The February retreat people know that I can never not go to El Patojismo anymore after what we experienced last time. So obviously I'm adding that to everything that we ever do for the rest of times. So we're going to have a giving day where we're going to visit this super mind-blowing, incredible, life-changing nonprofit that is working with children here near Antigua. And the work that they do is wow. It's hard to explain, but it's just wow. Just wow. Okay. When I grow up, I want to be like the guy who leads this organization because he's now my idol. Like his super fan. So, anyways, he's changing Guatemala. Okay. He's changing the lives of so many children here. So, we are going to have a giving back day. And honestly, they're going to give us more than we give them because going there, the February retreat people who just were here can tell you going there was, to me, even though we had so many incredible activities, to me, that was my favorite day, to be honest with you, because it was wow. Anyways, so then we have Lanquin, right? We're going to spend more days in Lanquin, Altavera Paz. Lanquin is an Altavera Paz, okay? With Hector, Elsa, and many more teachers over there. We're going to have a cacao farm tour. You guys, it's so beautiful there. The cacao farms are, you just don't understand how profoundly beautiful this activity is going to be. Then we're going to have an interactive workshop about cacao production guided by Elsa and several of the women who we work with in the cacao production site. And you're going to get to make your own cacao from bean to cup with your own hands in the traditional ancient way. Drink cacao, learn about its medicinal uses. We're going to have a traditional Mayan fire ceremony guided by an incredible Afki. He's so amazing. You don't even get it. He's one of the best Ahkihab I've ever met. Ahkih, by the way, means Mayan spiritual leaders. The ceremony in the jungle is going to be wow. You just don't get it. We're also going to have a giving back day, and I'm going to introduce my project. Okay. We're going to go to the community of 108 families in Altavera Paz, where we support, like, they're the most beautiful, incredible community. We're going to do cooking around the fire and oral tradition day with the women from the community. You're going to have one of the tastiest and heartiest meals you will ever have, and you just don't get it. I'm so frustrated explaining this because you just don't get it, okay? It's like you'll only get it once you're there. Just how incredible it's gonna be that day of like all the grandmothers coming and cooking for us in a circle where they're gonna be sharing all about the Maya oral tradition. That day, I can't express with words how special it's going to be. We're obviously going to go to Semuc Champey, okay? Semuc Champey is a natural wonder of turquoise colored natural pools in the middle of like the deep jungle, okay? You're surrounded by this massive mountains and this beautiful jungle, and you are just sitting there in this massive turquoise pool, swimming there, and the little fish are like nibbling on you is so beautiful, so precious. Going to Simuk Champe. We'll have an ancient clay workshop, and is this female elder who's going to talk to us about the importance of the preservation of the artisanal practices of the Maya, like the behind the scenes of the ancient work of artisans Okay, you have no idea, okay? You just see like a little like a clay cup, and you just think it's a little clay cup. You have no idea that the women, they're going there themselves into nature, taking a 1 day long trip to collect this specific kind of clays from specific mountains and carry it back. This old women, you know, they carry it back, mix it with different clay that they handpick. They mix it with their feet. It's so much fun. It's like this incredible thing. They do this entire thing, and you're going to get to witness all of it. And it's like clay is just one thing, but we wanted to show you at least one thing so you can see just how deep the process of production of everything in the Mayan world is. And last but not least, definitely not least, because this one will change your life, okay? This ancient permaculture workshop is beyond agriculture. It's about how we should live life in the modern world. It's a workshop that really expresses to us like what the problems of the modern world are and why we are so lost in this modern day humanity. Like this workshop, when you're done with the workshop, everyone ends up crying really because it's just like a deep explanation of like what went wrong and how to go back to our ancient roots and food and soil protection being the basis of it all. So it's a that workshop with Hector is life changing. And then we're gonna get on our shuttle bus and drive for 7 more hours to Peten, and then we're gonna visit Tikal. Peten is gonna be the shortest time. We're gonna visit Tikal. We're going to get up really, really, really early in the morning. It's gonna be a is gonna be quite the experience, but we're gonna go and observe the sunrise from top of on the top of Temple 4 in Tikal. And that sunrise, you hear the howling monkeys howling, and you see the sunrise. As the sun rises, then you see the top of all of the pyramids in the middle of the jungle. It's this incredible thing. And then we're gonna do like this several hours. It's like a 6 hour walking tour of all of Tikal, hiking the whole pyramids. We'll have a guide to explain us all of the ancient secrets of the city, the architecture, like the spirituality, everything. And then finally, okay, we're gonna do so many amazing things, but we're gonna close it con broche de oro. I don't know how to say that in English. We're gonna close it in the best possible way in which you can close this. We are going to visit a community of ex-guerrilla members who fought for 30 years during the Civil War, lived in the jungle for 30 years, and fought the military during the time of the genocide. And they fought for the preservation of Mayan people's rights. And the Civil War ended. It's a crazy story. Like by the end, they thought it was a scam. Like the military was like, you can come out of the jungle now. We're signing peace or whatever. We're going to stop the genocide. And for like a year, they didn't believe it. They thought it's like a trick. By the actual end of the Civil War, when they finally believed it and came out, they were left stranded in the jungle with absolutely nothing. No food, no clothing, no housing, nothing. And in the piece of jungle and the piece of land where they stood that day when they realized the genocide was over, well, quote unquote over, because they, and I agree, is not really that over. But anyways, when they were standing there and after the 30-year long fight, and they were like, we've got nothing. And then one of them stood up and said, well, we have the land, right? And like, we are Maya people and we know how to live from the land. So let's figure it out. 30 years later, they have the most utopic community. They built a community in the way the ancient Maya people would. The community has several hospitals that are completely for free for all the people in the community. All the children go to university. They have museums. They promote sports. They do so many crazy things. They built the most thriving community where they have agriculture next level, nutrition next level, healthcare next level, like education on the next level. It's you don't like it's. Oh, I just get chills thinking about it because once you're there, so that day just prepared to cry for 5 hours straight because it's mind blowing. And then we'll also tour their museum. They have a museum that they built as the Museum of the Civil War and the Genocide. And they tell you their personal stories of everything that they went through on the genocide and how they came out of that of that, I'm getting emotional talking about this, how they came out of that alive, and they managed to thrive. And so now they're trying to turn this into a project where they can teach other Maya communities across the country how we can live in the ancient way. You just don't get it. Okay. It's wow. So this is going to be, I told you guys, this is going to be the most special thing we've ever done. Like, we've never done anything like this before. I was just like 1 week in Antigua is just not coming close to, like, I could keep doing that. And a lot of you guys asked me after the retreat, can we keep doing this like once a year or whatever, And I was like, I just can't be frustrated anymore, okay? Because I know what you guys are actually missing out on, like, by doing everything. So we're not holding back on anything. We are doing absolutely everything there is to do in the Maya world. We're going to learn every aspect of it. So a lot of it is going to be like educational. A lot of it is going to be like one-on-one work with the healers. A lot of it is going to be like spiritual work. Other things are going to be psychological and emotional work to release your personal stuff. Other things are going to be learning about the culture. Other things are going to be communicating with community leaders who have the biggest impact. It's going to be a full immersion into the Maya world. It's a full on profound immersion into the Maya world. That's why we called it Mayan world immersion, because that was the most descriptive name we could come up with. So if you want, you can go to the next slide on it. So now I'm sure you guys are wondering how much this costs, okay? You have to keep in mind it's going to be 3 weeks in Guatemala, and we always try to make our programs as accessible as possible for people. As you know, our last retreat was 1 week long, and we charged $1,600 for this. So basically, if you break it down in that way, this is even like a little cheaper, or basically the same price per week, because we need to obviously cover the costs of everything that it includes. And it does include your meals, basically. It includes the accommodation, like the hotels. It includes the transportation, and it's not going to be cheap for us because we're traveling the entire country from corner to corner, right? We need to hire the transportation to drive you from Antigua all the way to Peten. That's crossing the entire country. Oh my gosh, you're going to have the best food ever in Lanquin. I totally forgot that. Our chef in Lanquin, if February people, if you thought the food was good last time with our retreat chef that we had, the Lanquin chef, he is next level. He should be like a Michelin star chef. I don't know what he's doing like in Lanquin randomly in the middle of the jungle, but he's literally the most amazing chef in the world, in my opinion. So basically, what is it going to cover? Well, I'm going to tell you right now a little bit about what it's going to cover, and then I'm going to break this down for you. So obviously, it's going to cover the payment for all of the teachers. And I don't even know at this point how many teachers is going to be, because we're going to be paying all of them really well. And I didn't even count them. Raquel, Alberto, Elsa, Héctor, todas las mujeres que son como, well, I'm not going to count them now, but we're going to basically have like more than 10 teachers participating in this entire retreat, at least. I'm not counting them right now because I'm not going to make you waste 5 minutes here while I count them, but it's definitely more than 10 teachers who will pay really well for the experience. We're going to leave donations in every organization that we go through. So part of like the money that you're paying for this is going to go to support all of the organizations that we're going to be visiting, from the one in Antigua, like the school where the guy is changing the world with the kids, to the one in Peten. And honestly, everything that you ever pay for, huge parts of it go to my project in Lanquin anyways. We have funded it from our own pocket anyway. So every time you buy programs like this, we immediately use the money to do our next project, which is water in Lanquin, in Alta Verapaz, in San Pedro Cabnab, the community that I support. So it's going to include that, like all of the payment for the teachers, all of the payment for all of the visits, we're going to pay for your entrance tickets to Tikal, to Semukchampe, to Ishimche, all of the payment for like all of the nonprofits or social projects that we're visiting. We're leaving great donations with them so that when we do this, we can have a big impact in the country as we're traveling through it. And we want to do like, how do you call this? Like responsible tourism or social tourism, or I don't know exactly how you call this, but like all the money's left in Guatemala for people who work really hard and like indigenous owned, Mayan owned projects that are changing the country. Additionally to that, it's like all of the hotel costs like are fully covered. So it includes hotel for all of you, like every night of the immersion, your hotel is covered. Additionally to that, it includes breakfast and lunch on activity days. So every day that it's an activity day, you'll have breakfast and lunch covered. The reason we don't include dinner is because it would be kind of crazy. We want to give you guys a break after the day is done. And I think everybody appreciates going out and having dinner by themselves or like with a smaller group because we've spent all day together. Okay, we're going to spend 3 weeks together. Maybe you're going to want a break from us. So basically breakfast and lunch during all activity days. It's also going to include all of the transportation, okay? And so, all right, we have different payment options because we know this is like a larger investment. We did already plan to create a payment plan for it. So it's like you can pay 1,600 per month for the next 3 months to make it more accessible for you guys. We also have the full payment, like a one-time payment option. Obviously, with this one, you get a couple of perks, like you have a little bit of a discount. So it's $300 cheaper if you pay in full. And then the other benefit of paying in full, like the $4,500, is that this is the only option where you can pay via bank transfer. It's not that we don't want to give the other options, like the payment plan options, to pay via bank transfer. It's just that when we give you guys that option, sometimes we have to chase them to pay again, and we don't want to overwhelm our customer service people with that. So for us, it's easier if it's just one payment, then you just pay and that's it. But if we would give it for the monthly payment plan, our customer service has to deal with like reaching out to people. But why is this a benefit? Because via bank transfer, like when you don't pay through card or PayPal, when you pay through card or PayPal, we lose fees as well. Like PayPal and card, and like the card company charges us some fees. So then we can give you an additional 5% discount, which totals $225 off extra by paying via bank transfer if you pay in the full payment. Then there's the shared accommodation. So if instead of having your own individual room, you don't mind sharing with like, it could be 1, 2, or 3 people from the immersion and like from the group, and we'll assign you to which people, then you get a total of $500 off. Okay, you pay 4,000 in total instead of 4,500. However, if you do go for the payment plan, then what you pay monthly is $1,433 for 3 months, totaling 4,299. As you can see, paying in payment plans is always a little bit more expensive. So for couples, if you want to come with your partner, or sometimes people come not with their partner, but with like their best friend. And yes, I'm looking at you, Natalie. So now sometimes they come with like their friends. You can also like share a room with someone else, like a double room, and then it's also cheaper because then you pay the full price, but your partner only pays $4,000. So in total, together, you both get like a $500 discount. If you do the payment plan, though, it's always a little bit more expensive to do that. Then it's $3,033 per month for 3 months for both of you. And that totals $9,099 for both of you if you do the payment plan, versus if you pay at once for both of you, it's $8,500. So you do save a lot by paying at once. If you're coming with your spouse or your bestie or whatever it might be. So these are the options. You have no idea how hard it was for me to write this down in an organized way. So I hope they're understandable because my brain doesn't work with organization. So as I was writing this slide, I was like, I hope this is understandable, right? As I said, this one's a little bit more pricey than our other retreats, which were $1,600, but that's because those were 1 week. These are 3 weeks, okay? And it includes traveling around the entire country and lodging you for 3 weeks. And, it's a lot, okay? It's a lot, like the transportation. And it doesn't, in our last retreat, honestly, if you look at it in that way, this is also cheaper than our last retreats were, because in our last retreats, we only had 2 teachers. And this one, we're going to have more than 10 teachers, and we have to pay each one of them very well for their time, because you know that ethically that's what we stand for, like paying all of the teachers really well for their work. So we can't have 10 teachers and just like ask them to work for nothing, obviously. We're going to pay them really, really well for all of the activities that they're going to be guiding us through. So that's why, honestly, we should have probably charged more, but I'm always all for charging the least possible amount that I can get away with without hurting myself. And this was the least possible amount that I could get away with without hurting myself. So basically, if you want, you can go to the next slide, Anne. Additionally, it's a no risk investment because, and I'm telling you why we do this, because obviously you guys are like, okay, this is a lot and I probably need some time to think sometimes, right? But the thing is, our recommendation is to join now. I know it's only in a year, but as I told you, we have a current waiting list of 50 people. We decided to, I'm sorry if you're in the waiting list, but you're hearing about this at the same time as everyone else, because we always think it's more fair to do first come, first serve. So that's how we're going to be doing this, is basically first come, first serve. For context, our last 2 retreats sold out the first one sold out in 2 days, and the second one sold out in 1 day, actually 5 hours. So usually, and probably you're right, whoever said in the chat, we probably would need 4 groups to please everyone who wants to join. But we also burn out, so we're human beings too, so we can't be doing that. So I would love to be able to split myself into 3 people and do this every single day, but we also have to rest a little bit. So basically we're doing 2 groups, but because there is that urgency of signing up now, I don't know how it's going to go right now, but I do feel, and by the way, oh no, don't stop sharing this actually. I do feel like it's very probable, based on our previous experience, every single time we have launched a tour or retreat or anything like this, it always sells out within a day. So if you don't join ASAP, like right now, there's a huge risk you're not going to make it into the group. But for that reason, since it's like such a, like, you just found out and you kind of have to sign up super soon in order to make it in, we do give you like a no risk investment so that you have time to relax a little bit about it and not freak out about it, which is this time, because it's a 3-week thing, our refund policy is your payment is going to be 100% refundable, minus a couple of fees, but you can see that information on the website, until 5 months before the start of your trip. And it's going to be 50% refundable until 3 months before the start of your trip. So the reason we're doing it this way this time is because we know that, like, if somebody drops out 3 months before, it's very improbable that we can replace that person's spot, because who could ever plan a 3-week trip to Guatemala 3 months in advance, So it's going to be hard to replace you if you drop out too close to the retreat. So that's why we're doing it this way. It's not a retreat, it's an immersion. Sorry, I'm so used to saying the word retreat recently that I got stuck with that word. But if you want, Anne, you could actually stop sharing in this moment. Okay. So for context, like a couple of extra pieces of information that might be useful for you to know is we're starting in Antigua. Antigua is super close to Guatemala City. It's a 1 hour away from the main airport. So if you're landing in Guatemala, super easy access to the place where we're starting the immersion, which is Antigua, and we're finishing in Flores. Okay, Flores Peten. And the reason is we did that strategically because if we finished in Lanquin, you'd be left there stranded. Like, how do I get back home? But in Flores, that's not going to happen to you because Flores is super touristic. And for that reason, there are all kinds of transportations to get back to Guatemala City, where is the main airport where you'll fly back to your country. In Flores, you can book shuttles and buses very easily, as well as there's an airport in Flores that flies you back to Guatemala City. And if you buy your ticket enough time in advance, it's very cheap. So it's a 25-minute flight. I took it like a million times last year. I went to Flores like 20 times. So it's very smooth if you fly from Flores to Guatemala City. And so it's very easy access to the places of the beginning and the start of the immersion. Um, what else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Two important notes. Obviously, it's 3 weeks. We're not crazy. We know you're a human being, and we do have quite a lot of experience with this. Obviously, we're not going to have activities every single day because you will need, and trust me, you will appreciate some free days as well in between activity days. So don't worry, we've planned enough free or break days in between activity days for you to rest because it's spiritual work, energetic work, is physical exhaustion from like traveling and, hiking, moving, like doing so many things. So you will be very happy to have some free days in between. And the other ways in which we balance this out is some days are full activity days, like morning and afternoon, there's activities, but some days it's only morning activities. So that also sometimes you'll have a free afternoon to rest. But it's not our first rodeo, okay? So we know exactly the perfect balance between, you know, uh, how do you say it? Like activity days and rest days. All right. So it will include 2 times long trips. So Antigua to Lanquin is approximately 10 hours and Lanquin to Peten is approximately 7 hours. And we do have an all diet friendly menu for all of you guys who are vegan and gluten free and have like dietary restrictions. Our chef's kiss. Don't worry about it. Our chefs are amazing and they're super, super careful with this thing. So that's not something that you should worry about. We will ask you when you sign up, though, to let us know what your dietary restrictions are so that we can plan for that. And additionally to that, we're obviously going to soon have a call for you guys to start getting the full picture and preparing for the journey. February, people, this is not going to be the same thing as Antigua. We are going through different climate zones. So sometimes it's going to be cold, sometimes it's going to be super hot. Okay, it's because we're going to be in the jungle. Sometimes it's going to be humid. So we're going to go through different climate changes. So keep that in mind. And you do need, before you sign up, if you have a physical, how do you call this? If you have physical constraints, right? Like if you suffer from a specific illness or have like physical problems that keep you from doing certain activities, maybe it's worth talking to our customer service before signing up because, okay, it's not that crazy, but some of the days we're going to be hiking, for example, like there's a day where we're going to our cacao farm and that day you're going to be taking a long walk inside of the jungle, right? Obviously, it's not crazy. I'm not in great shape. I should go to the gym, but I don't. Okay. And so like, I'm not an athlete or something. And I do this kind of stuff all the time. It's not like we're not hiking a volcano or doing something crazy like that. But whenever we go to Tikal, for example, it is a 6-hour walking tour. It's very slow walking, okay? Like you're walking, taking photos, stopping, but it is a lot of walking, right? Also to see the sunrise, we do walk like at 3 a.m. in the jungle, just so you know. Of course, with a guide, you will be fine, but still it is a walk in the jungle. Like you do have to keep in mind we are going to the jungle. There are insects, there are animals. Just letting you guys know so that you know what you're getting yourselves into. If you want to see the real Guatemala, I'm taking you to it, okay? So you have to deal with this stuff. Additionally, in Antigua, we're staying in a beautiful hotel. I do want to put this in your mind. In Lanquin, the hotels are not fancy, okay? You will have a comfortable bed. You will have a warm shower. You will have AC, like you will have what you need in Lanquin. But the designer or decorator of the hotel maybe didn't do an amazing job. Maybe it's not aesthetically super pretty or stuff like that. But we are going to the real Guatemala, of course. So that's what you're getting yourself into, just so you know. Um, so, and in Flores, same thing, right? Like it's not five-star American hotels or whatever. It's what we have access to in Guatemala. So, so yeah. Um, am I forgetting something? Oh my God, I did it again for 1 hour. I always plan this goals for like half an hour and I can never stick to that amount of time. I have issues with how much I talk, so apologies for that. But okay, I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, you can check out all the information I just shared with you on the website. So basically, um, basically, this is going to be the most special thing we've ever done. And I always say that, and it's always true, but then I always come up with something better. So this is going to be the most special, amazing thing that we have ever, ever, ever done. I can wholeheartedly swear on my dad, okay, that this is going to be a life changing experience. Words do not suffice to express, because I've done this before by myself, with myself, and words just cannot express how profound the workshops, the work, the experiences are going to be. You just don't get what the place looks like, what the people are like. Everything is just incredible. It'll open your mind to a new world that you don't even know is possible, like that you don't even know exists, and is going to be like, yeah, mind blowing. It's going to be mind blowing and beautiful. So I hope to see some of you guys in a year. Again, I'll repeat, the reason we're announcing it 1 year in advance is I know it would be really hard for you if you don't have enough time to plan this, to take those 3 weeks off. I know it's going to be like, you're going to have to plan this out very well to fit your schedule. But I hope to see some of you guys there. If you have any questions, contact our customer service. They'll be very happy to answer your questions. Anna and Martin both posted the link, I think, right now in the chat. So you're the first ones to have the link, by the way, so take advantage of that, because it is first come, first serve. The second batch of people who are going to get the link are going to get it in a little bit, because we will have to upload the recording of this. And we'll send an email with the recording of today, as well as the link to the website again, as soon as we are ready. But if you want to take advantage that right now you're the first ones to know about this, you still have a chance to sign up. So good thing that you came to the live call. And I'll see you in Guatemala in 2027, you guys. Less than in a year for some of you. My dyslexia hitting. So less than in a year for some of you. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for coming. Besitos. Un abrazo. Hugs for everyone. Happy Eek. See you guys soon. Bye bye. Nice to see you.